In the winter of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers embarked on an ambitious journey into the heart of Russia's Ural Mountains. Their leader, a determined and skilled young man named Igor Dyatlov, had assembled a team of his peers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. They were all in their early 20s, full of life, strong, and brimming with the spirit of adventure. Their goal was a formidable one: to reach Otortna Peak, whose name, in the local Mansi language, ominously translates to "Don't go there." They were well equipped, highly trained, and documented their expedition with photographs, capturing moments of laughter, camaraderie, and the stark, frozen beauty of the landscape. They smiled for the camera, unaware that these images would become the final, haunting testament to their existence. Their journey took them to a slope known as Kholat Syakhl, or Dead Mountain. It was here, on this desolate, windswept incline, that they pitched their tent for what would be their last night on Earth. They never made it to their destination. They never returned home. And the mystery of what happened to them on that fateful night would become one of the most chilling and perplexing enigmas of the 20th century. Weeks passed with no word from the Dyatlov group. When they failed to send a prearranged telegram signaling their successful return, their families grew frantic. A massive search and rescue operation was launched. On February 26, what the search party discovered was not a scene of a simple hiking accident, but the beginning of a nightmare. They found the group's tent half buried and shredded by the fierce winds. But a closer look revealed something deeply disturbing. The tent hadn't been torn apart by the elements from the outside. It had been sliced open, deliberately, from the inside. Imagine the sheer terror that must have gripped them. Whatever they faced, it was so immediate, so horrifying, that they didn't even have time to untie the entrance. They frantically slashed their way out with knives, choosing to flee into the deadly sub-zero wilderness rather than stay inside their only shelter for one more second. What could possibly drive 9 seasoned mountaineers to such a desperate act? The scene was a silent scream, a testament to a panic so profound it defied all logic and training. It was the first piece of a puzzle that would only grow more baffling and terrifying with each new discovery. The footprints left in the snow told a story of pure, unadulterated panic. A trail of prints led away from the shredded tent, down the desolate slope towards a nearby forest line, nearly a mile away. But this wasn't an orderly retreat. The pattern was chaotic, suggesting a group scattering in terror. The most chilling detail, however, was what was missing. The temperature that night had plummeted to a bone-chilling -30 degrees Celsius, a cold so intense it can kill in minutes. Yet, the footprints revealed that the hikers had fled barefoot, or wearing only socks. Some were found wearing only their underwear. Think about that. These were experienced professionals who knew the brutal reality of the Russian winter. They knew that proper clothing and footwear were the absolute difference between life and death. Why would they abandon their boots, their heavy coats, their hats and gloves, and run headlong into a frozen hell? It's a question that defies all rational explanation. Something inside that tent scared them more than the certainty of freezing to death. The evidence painted a picture of a flight not from a discernible physical threat, but from a form of terror that stripped them of all reason and instinct for self-preservation. The first of the bodies were discovered near the edge of the forest, under a large ancient cedar tree. Lyudmila Dubinina and Yuri Krivonishenko were found lying next to the remnants of a small, desperate fire. They were dressed in nothing but their undergarments. The official cause of death was hypothermia. The cold had claimed them, but their hands were raw and burned, their knuckles scraped to the bone. They had clearly been trying frantically to climb the cedar tree, perhaps to get a better view, or maybe to escape something on the ground. 3 more bodies, including that of the group's leader, Igor Dyatlov, were found scattered between the tree and the abandoned tent. They seemed to have been trying to make their way back up the slope, perhaps realizing the futility of their flight and attempting a desperate return to their only shelter. They too had succumbed to the merciless cold. At this point, the tragedy, while strange, could almost be explained away by a phenomenon like paradoxical undressing, where hypothermia victims feel a sense of burning heat and remove their clothes. But the search was far from over, for members of the group were still missing, and what the search party would find next would shatter any simple explanation and catapult the case into the realm of the truly inexplicable. 2 months later, as the deep winter snow began to melt, the remaining 4 hikers were found. They were discovered deep in a ravine, buried under more than 12 feet of snow, not far from the cedar tree, and the condition of their bodies was horrific. Nicholas Thibobrignolas had suffered a catastrophic skull fracture. Alexander Zolotaryov and Lyudmila Dubinina had sustained massive internal chest trauma. Their ribs were crushed with a force so immense, the medical examiner compared it to the impact of a high-speed car crash. But here's the truly bizarre part. Despite these devastating internal injuries, there were no corresponding external bruises or soft tissue damage. It was as if they had been squeezed by an immense, invisible force. And the nightmare didn't end there. Upon closer examination, it was discovered that Lyudmila Dubinina was missing her tongue, her eyes, and part of her lip and facial tissue. The official report noted that these tissues were missing, but offered no explanation as to how. The medical examiner concluded that the fatal injuries sustained by these 4 could not have been inflicted by another human being. The force required, he stated, was equal to a compelling natural force. As if this weren't strange enough, Subsequent tests on the hikers' clothing revealed significant levels of radioactive contamination. And to add another layer of high strangeness, multiple eyewitnesses, including other hiking groups and local villagers, reported seeing strange, silent, glowing orange spheres or balls of light in the sky over that very region of the Ural Mountains on the night the Dyatlov group perished. Faced with a case riddled with contradictions and unexplainable evidence, the Soviet authorities acted swiftly and secretively. The investigation was abruptly closed. The official cause of death for the group was declared to be a compelling natural force. The files were classified, and the area was sealed off to the public for 3 years. This secrecy, of course, only fueled speculation. What was the government trying to hide? Over the decades, countless theories have emerged, each trying to make sense of the senseless. Was it a simple avalanche that forced them from the tent? This is the most common official explanation, but it doesn't account for the lack of external trauma on the first 5 bodies, the nature of the internal injuries on the last 4, the footprints leading away from the tent, or the radiation. Was it an attack by the local Mansi people? Unlikely, as the Mansi were known to be peaceful, and the nature of the injuries was beyond human capability. Some theories point to a secret military weapons test gone horribly wrong. This could potentially explain the radiation and the orange light in the sky, perhaps a concussion blast from a parachute mine causing the internal injuries. Others venture into the paranormal, suggesting an encounter with an unknown creature, like a Russian Yeti, or even an extraterrestrial event. The truth remains buried in the snows of Dead Mountain. The 9 hikers took their secret to their graves, leaving behind a chilling legacy in one of the world's most enduring mysteries. The case of the Dyatlov Pass incident remains open in the court of public opinion, a dark, unanswered question mark hanging over the icy peaks of the Ural Mountains. Thanks for watching The Black Box. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the unknown.